So, welcome everyone to this masterclass by Master Coaches. And before digging in, because today is quite a rich and nice one, I'd like to share some special announcements. And those special announcements start with the lineup of what's coming up. So, Fernando's here today. But not only that, for those of you who do not know, he has the monthly and regular coaching practice lab, which is really, really useful and cool. Um, so that is happening actually 2 days from now. So after tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Not only that, 1st of April, and that is not April's Fool. That is a real session that is happening on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. A masterclass by master coaches. And Claire, for those of you who don't know her, she always brings across a lot of depth in sharing. She will be talking about drawing forth masterful thinking, so the readiness around it. More even than those two, and if you're not excited enough, there is April coming up, which means it's the Core Competencies Spring Summit. There's a lot of CCUs to be earned, a lot of very strong and experienced speakers that will be there. So if your membership is running out, please renew. If you're not a member, please join because it's a golden chance to get to hear and share and improve the core competencies. And even if that is not enough to get you interested, there is more. There's the ICW, there's the International Coaching Week 2026, and Claudia and her team are doing an enormous job to make sure that we have speakers and hosts that are of interest, of depth, and of quality. So scan the QR code if you're interested to host, if you're interested to be a speaker as well. That will find its way to Claudia and her team. And there's a lot on offer. So, with all that goodies being said, I don't want to take more time from Fernando because I personally, for one, I'm looking forward to hear what he will say and share with us today. But just quick note, in case you don't know him, which would be a surprise, but still. So Fernando Celis, who is a master certified coach from ICF, he's an international recognized MCC. He's also certified coach supervisor with many years. You can see how many they are on the slide, but they are enough and more than enough in terms of experience in personal coaching, executive coaching. And he is the founder and CEO of ILC Academy worldwide. He trained and certified more than 3,500 professional life and leadership coaches all over the world and counting. Throughout his career, Fernando has served as a consultant and an executive coach for many of Fortune 500 companies. He's the author of best-selling novels, The Executive Surfer, not one, not two. And like Jaws, an interesting sequel, there might be three. We don't know.
It's a
We don't
trilogy.
know. But for now, I'd like to hand it over to Fernando. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank
And
you.
the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ibrahim, and thank you, everybody. Thank you for your energy and here, and we're gonna make it worthwhile. I'm Fernando, and well, it's been a hell of a week. This past week, I was in Bogota for the ICF summit down there. I was a speaker, and it was a challenge because I've been these past 4 years, 4 or 5 years in my house delivering online 100%, and I hadn't been out really for a conference, so I was kind of out of shape, but it was fantastic. I met a lot of cool people, met a lot of people from global. Saul was there. Saul, what is it? Saul Infante, and It's a chance to get to know what's going on, and we're doing good. I mean, coaching is building. Coaching is getting stronger, and ICF presence is consolidating itself as the source. I mean, people say stuff, but really, as an ICF credential holder, if you don't have it, I always tell students, you're going to be out of the game. And there's so many platforms that are giving us opportunity, and we have to keep our um, skills sharp. And that's where supervision comes in. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, talk about a new way of approaching this in a group session. I call it Pandora's Box. I mixed several interventions to this one, and one of you is going to participate here live. Okay? So you might want to have if you have good video and we can work this here, I'm going to show you how you can work this tool, which was designed to be done live in a virtual setting. How are we doing today? Are you arriving? Good. I'm not going to do any grounding today because it's we're here, and it's middle of the week, and it's spring break in Miami. So if you're in South Florida, I hope all the spring breakers are being respectful this year, are being well behaved. I know that Miami Beach tried to turn this into a fitness kind of thing. They did a fitness palooza. I don't know if it's going on because I haven't been there. Because the past years they come in and they burn the city and then they leave. So today, in this master class, I'm Fernando. We're going to dive into supervision, and we're going to dive into group supervision. A little bit of a creative approach on improving our skills. And supervision is something that's relatively coming in new to the continent. I mean, this is supervision has always been around in Europe for the EMCC holders, and I see that ICF is looking into this, and also like platforms like Better Up is having these sessions with, they don't call it supervision, they call it expression sessions or enlightenment sessions, because supervision doesn't say what it is. Okay. And just from the beginning, who's here familiar with coaching supervision? Raise your hand. No. Okay, so those that don't, when you hear coaching supervision, that now you're going to have mentoring and coaching supervision, what do you feel? What's the reaction? What do you think it is?
It feels uncomfortable at the
Yeah.
beginning. But
Francine,
I
what do
know
yeah, it feels uncomfortable. And you know about supervision, Claudia. What is your reaction when they say, hey, you're gonna need to have 3 sessions of supervision, of coaching?
Fernando, we're getting from the chat, Leah saying excited. Scott is picking up
More
more
rules, yeah.
rules.
Yeah, and I've had that reaction. That's why I call it a hard sale. It's like, what is this? I'm getting mentored, and now I got to be supervised. What the hell is this? And it has nothing to do with the word supervision. It's nothing to do with anybody looking at anything you do. It's a psychodynamic conversation that improves your skills tenfold. It really helps you save a year, you know? And they say not to say this, but it is. It's coaching for coaches. They call it supervision because the origin of the term come from psychotherapy. Okay? Scott, you're in Boynton, Miami Beach. Heather, where are you at?
And Grand Cayman, Cayman Islands.
At the Cayman Island. That's excellent. Adriana, where are you at?
I'm in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Buenos Aires, Argentina. Excellent. Who else is Leah? Did you get connected in your computer?
Yes, I'm here. I'm calling in from Maryland.
Maryland. Excellent. Maryland. I was raised in Washington, D.C. when I was a kid in the 60s. I lived near Chevy Chase, Maryland. Okay, so this is a creative approach. Now, okay, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? What's the answer? How do you become?
Practice.
You practice. You practice. So think about yourself in 3 years. I want to start with this because we're going to talk about our skills. You are all competent coaches. And as competent coaches, you love this. And you are here because you love this. You're passionate about this. I mean, there's nothing that gets me more excited than doing this, than going and catching a plane and delivering a keynote about something or educating or coaching. And that's why I'm always coaching in the platforms. I apply to platforms every 2 months. I get rejected, I apply again. I get rejected, I apply again. Eventually, they give me a shot because I love to coach and see what's going on in these companies that these platforms get. These multi-million-dollar platforms have great companies. And when you coach, you can tell, you can see what's going on in Google, what's going on in Apple, what's going on in these companies. And you learn a lot about real leadership and what they face. I love that. And I keep myself, with time. So each one of us has something on their mind of what they want to get out of this coaching profession. So this is going to be our grounding exercise, and I'm going to ask you to get comfortable in your seat, put your both feet on the ground, okay? Like grounded, and not too rigid and not too comfortable. Put your hand in front, in the center of your chest, okay? And just breathe. Just breathe. Just feel the breath of your heart. And think about your coaching life. And let yourself travel to the future and see yourself as you want to see yourself in 3 years. And feel that resonance in your heart. Breathe in deep. And notice what your body tells you. What do you feel? Where do you feel it? And connect with gratitude. Breathe it in your heart. Breathe deep. Again. And open your eyes slowly. And let's stretch up to the left and to the right. Listo. Ready. Okay? Okie dokie. Sorry, okay. Let's get back to our screen. And let's go into this supervision thing that we've been talking about. Coach supervision is about expansive intervention for coaches delivered by a coach supervisor. And I tell you, of all the trainings I had and all the stuff and the PCC and MCC and all the stuff that we learn, I really enjoyed supervision. I mean, it was a long process, but because it kind of like unties your hands because it doesn't limit yourself to the listening and asking questions, although it has a lot of that. It gives you a lot of license to intervene because it has three pillars. When you talk to a supervisor, you bring in a case. You bring a case. You bring something that went on in a session. Okay? It's like have you ever had a session that you didn't feel you connected? Raise your hand. Have you had one of those sessions that, oh, have you ever had a session that what the client is conveying, it triggers something inside of you because you went through the same stuff? Have you ever had a session that you felt uncomfortable with the client from something he said? No? You know, there's stuff that goes on. Or have you ever felt that, oh, you felt so compassionate to the client that you were kind of like, oh, worried about the client? That's the kind of stuff that you bring to supervision. And the the effect is wild, okay? Because in supervision, the supervisor is going to start exploring that in so many ways that it's to help you understand and to reconnect with your true role as a coach. I'm going to give you an example, and this is a classic one. I was coaching a fella. He was a regional director for one of these, it wasn't even in the United States, a foreign store, luxury product store. You know the ones that they sell Prada and all the fashion and all that stuff. A very expensive store. Tiffany's was in there. And he was one of 5 regional directors. And it was fascinating, the sessions, because I learned a lot about the fashion industry. They were into fashion. I mean, the CEO was a woman that would travel to London to the fashion shows and select which are the garments and the colors that are going to be having on display and all that stuff. It was a great, that was my longest number of coaching sessions I ever had. He recontracted me 3 times. So 99 sessions with the fella. And it was fun because at times, I would go, hey, what are the colors for the next season, to tell my wife? And he would answer. He said, Fernando, start looking into lime green, and those are okay. See those colors. And effectively, on the TV in the next month, Brad Pitt with a green outfit, and in the stores, the surfing shorts with green. So I was always on top of stuff. And so these 5 regional were competing to become the first, the second in command to the CEO, which was a woman in the fashion industry. There were 5 competing. And this fella, he won. So I coached him a lot. It's coaching for promotion, executive presence, the politics inside, how to connect and get close. The board of directors would come from London. What was he going to do? It was like a movie. And he was worried because there were 5 and there could only be 1. And we were reaching to the point that they were going to make the decision. And this fellow was a bald fellow with, did you guys see Devil Wears Prada? The guy looked like Stanley Tucci. And I was like, and I saw that movie and I was like, oh, he's not going to get promoted. They're going to promote the other woman. And I was, we were pushing. And then one day, he comes into the session and says, Fernando, I got promoted. That was such a fulfilling moment. Okay, so that's good. That's not the wise supervision. The next session. Hey, how you doing? What do you want to explore today? The whole thing. No, I'm fine. Everything's great. Everybody's happy. Everybody loves me. Everything's great. Okay, so I thought, well, he's celebrating. Let's review. What have we done? What have you learned? Reflective session. Perfect. Next session. Oh, how you doing? What do you want to explore in this session today? Oh, no, Fernando, everything's fine. Everything's great. Everybody loves me. And I was like, okay, our last session, what have you learned from this experience? Blah, blah, blah. Trying to get what's not perfect yet, sessions. These were 30-minute sessions. The next session. What would you like to explore in this session today? Oh, no, everything's fine. Everybody's cool. Everybody loves me. I started to get worried. So I went to supervision. I go to supervision twice a year. And what I got out of supervision, it's like always, I didn't see it coming. The whole thing about that session was, Fernando, you've been coaching for promotion. You've been coaching from the promotional intention within your unconscious mind. And you're still doing it. And right now you're coaching CEO. You're coaching C-suite level. And that shifted a lot inside of me. And just by that insight, everything changed. And I can't explain it. I mean, it was the same question. What would you like to explore again? But the intentionality was different. And so now we got into the conversations of where he is, what's happening. He only has 2 reports. He used to have 7. All the stuff that goes on at a C-suite level. That's what you get from supervision. It's a different kind of coaching. So that's an example. Also, when you're stuck or when something goes on between you and your client. So when we are in supervision, we work on 3 pillars, as they say, 3 reasons to be. In coaching supervision, there can be a reflective theme where it's about reflecting about the session so you can get an insight. Coaching supervision can also be a source for clarifying an ethical situation. You go to supervision because, listen, I'm coaching this fella and this went down. And you don't feel, because as coaches, sometimes we don't see it and we need to talk it over with somebody. That goes into supervision and also education. Sometimes it's formative. I do supervision with my entry-level students because I have level 1s. And so it's fascinating because you get stuff that can accelerate the learning. Those are the 3 pillars of supervision. So right now, let's cut to the chase. What is a challenge that you are facing right now in your sessions? A case. What is going on right now in a session with a client that's got you feeling that it's not perfect yet? Think about it. Any situation right now that we can work on that you would think this could be something for supervision. What is it? What is a challenge in your sessions that you might be encountering? Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you feel you're not getting what you want. Maybe you're feeling kind of awkward with somebody. Maybe you're feeling nervous with a client. Anybody have one? Heather. Heather?
Yes. So should I share it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a cancer survivor of two serious cancers. I've got a client, longtime client, wonderful client, who is in a situation right now whose parent is dying of the same kind of cancer that I survived. But I'm still in like the cone of, I haven't beat it. I'm very healthy, it's very serious cancer, it's pancreatic cancer. So their parent is dying of pancreatic cancer. So what's been introduced into the session is a very serious illness, lots of detail about the parent's cancer, when I'm still in the process of being tested like every 6 months to see if I'm going to be okay. Client wouldn't know anything about this. They would have no way of knowing. But I feel that my attention sometimes goes a different direction and thinking, gosh, I hope that doesn't happen to me.
So your client's parents.
A parent is suffering and dying from
A
the same illness
parent.
that I've survived.
Yeah.
A parent, their parent.
And it's triggering your feeling of whatever.
My own
You're
fears that I
alert.
manage pretty
Yeah.
well all the time and all that. But in this session, we're talking about this very specific cancer. It just happens to be the same thing that I've survived now 4 years. But I feel in the session that I'm usually really engaged, really all about the client, really never thinking about me. And it's got me thinking about me, even though it really has nothing to do with me, because I'm human.
Right. And the client, and what are you doing with the client in the session? What's the contract for her?
The client is managing their own fears around it, a lot of logistics around it. The parent lives in a different country, siblings aren't being helpful. There's a financial disparity between the client and their siblings. It's really got nothing to do with the parent's actual illness. It's just got to do with how is this client dealing with this major stressor that's come into their life. They're not even particularly close with the parent. It's about how are they handling this new thing that's on their plate that's a lot. That's a lot of management. So it's about the client's tackling of this issue in their life. But what's kind of coming up for me is sometimes I'm a little bit losing track of what the client's saying, thinking, ooh, that sounds terrible.
Yep.
So it's sort of an ethic kind of question to me. Am I really the right coach for this client at this particular time? Client has no awareness of anything to do with my medical history. Of course they wouldn't, right? It occurred to me that this would be a good thing for me to get into coaching supervision, because
you want to bring this in? Yeah, we're already in this, so we might as well go ahead. Is that okay?
Sure.
Give her a round of applause, Heather. Ibrahim, can you put us two in the spotlight? That way we can talk this, we can work this. This is gonna be fun.
Excellent.
And Heather. Hey, we're both here.
Hey.
So, and from what I'm feeling, you're coaching this person.
Treasured client.
Treasured client. And you're coaching her through.
It's a gentleman.
It's a gentleman on his life.
On many things in his life.
Many
things that are in his plate, you could say.
Many things in his place, involving also this thing with the siblings. There's a system around him. What's the relationship of you two like?
Coachy, but very open. This is the type of client that came in and said, I'm only going to talk about business. Okay. Of course, all coaching is life coaching. Over time, it developed into, a lot of things about his own things that were holding him back at work that are really holding him back overall. So we got into, him being his best self, and we have an excellent relationship.
So he comes in like, this is strictly business. If you could if you could think about a metaphor between you and this fella, what metaphor comes to mind? It can be a
Warm
book,
sea,
huh?
a warm ocean.
A warm ocean.
It's warm. It's warm and it's a comfortable place, I think, for both of us.
It's a warm, comfortable ocean. And if you can give me a metaphor of you and him as a story, as a movie, what would it be?
I'm the coach sitting on the bench, and he's the athlete on the field taking the swings.
You're the coach on the bench and he's on the field.
He's the athlete. He's the star. I'm just on the bench watching, helping him perfect his swing at whatever he's trying to do. That's the metaphor.
Hmm. What happens with you when you're coaching him?
What happens with my feeling? Was my feeling?
Yeah.
Normally, there aren't a whole lot of like big feelings in there. I've just noticed that, when this particular subject has come up, say over the past 2 months, I'm feeling like my heart racing and thinking, oh, wow, I've got to, my next tests are coming up in a couple months. In fact, I was just in Miami last week, just everything's fine. But I was thinking, oh, wow, that sounds hard. That sounds really hard, and that's thinking about me. And that's not what you're supposed to be doing in a coaching session. You're supposed to be focusing on the client. My focus is elsewhere, back to me. And that, from everything I know about being a PCC coach, that is not what's supposed to be happening in the coaching session. It's fleeting, but I found that it's distracting for me. And I wonder if I'm doing the right service to the client if there's moments where I'm not thinking about the client.
Well, because you're a human being, so you're feeling that you could be distracted from him. Yet what comes up from me, and it was from the get-go, when you came in and you came with that energy and you expressed the situation, which is, a situation to consider, what evoked in me was a lot of security and faith. That's what came up from your energy. Do you think that's what he's feeling when you coach him?
I think so.
Because it's what I feel you transmit. How we doing?
That's excellent. Yes, I think so. I think he feels that in the session.
Okay, so let's keep this. Is everybody following me here? I'm going to explain more or less what I did, and then you're going to come with me and we're going to open the Pandoras box.
Sure. I'm going to
Okay?
plug in my battery's running low. So if my face goes away for
Oh,
a
yeah,
second, just
go ahead. So I'm going to share screen. Keep us on, Ibrahim, on the fish bowl, and I'm going to start explaining a little bit of what we're doing. I mean, I'm condensing 8 months of education in 15 minutes. This is the supervisor's role is to take you to a place that you become something and get something out of this, because there's a lot that does being offered. Okay, and discovering what you might have as a coach, what I call superpower that you might not know. So the first insight is what happens in the moment, and it's exploring you and the client from different perspectives. And what's the relationship like? So we have a warm ocean, and then we have a batter on the field, and you're on the bench. So there's excitement. There's an energy that I'm feeling it from Heather Lockhart. I don't know if you guys are feeling this. Is coming up to me. I'm here and I'm feeling this. I'm even I'll tell you some stuff. It's freaky because this is supervision. You work with a lot of psychodynamic. Then what goes on with you, the inner workings of you, and it's normal, what am I feeling? You have fears, you have things, this is triggering this and that. But in supervision, I'm also part of your system. What goes on with me and what goes on with us? Because this is about exploring your coaching self, see what's really going on. Because you are helping this fella in many ways. You're giving him faith and certainty. You're leading him to deal with many things. And still you take all that stuff within you that makes you interpret that you might be kind of like fogging up the relationship of what you can do for this guy.
And I'll just jump in there. I don't feel that's happened yet. What I just noticed is that I only coach part-time, and the coaching is, gosh, that's the best part of my day. I love it so much. It's just such a gift to be able to do it. And I feel so lit up when I'm in the coaching session. And I've noticed that there's just a few minutes when this topic is coming up that I feel a little less than, I feel like my dimmer switch is on. And so I feel like that client's not getting the best of me like he's typically getting. So he may not be aware of it, but I would say, that's just maybe I'm being self-critical, but that's the perception that I have, is that I feel like I want to give my best. And I'm not sure that that's really happening in those moments where my mind's kind of drifting away. That's really my dilemma. Am I being the best coach that I can for this client?
Yeah, and your mind drifts away with this and that because you're human and you're smart. But I think part of your superpowers come from that dimmer switch that how to, and you're very, precise in the terms of where the relationship lies. And you gave me the batter and the guy on the bench, the athlete and that's a very powerful metaphor that defines. You didn't say that you're the father of the batter. You weren't the catcher. You weren't the pitcher. You're the manager. You're the coach. And that was very clear place where you position yourself in your coaching profession. You said you were in the Cayman Islands, right?
Yes, I've been here 25 years.
Imagine that. So this is about reflection and exploration, a little bit about what supervision is. And reflection is about respecting the other's wisdom and to curiously explore how that person clicks, feels, thinks, and acts. Without it, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful. It's Margaret Wheatley. But yes, Heather, as you see, this is a reflective session, a reflection on the goings on between you and your client. Now, in supervision, this is when I did this program when I was a PCC. Now I'm MCC. I got to put it here. In supervision, we explore what they call the 7 I's.
Okay.
It's very Peter Hawkins. We explore the coach because there's a triangle. It's the coach supervisor, and the client. It's a triangle. The first I we explore is who's the client. So conversation is about the client, what's going on, who's the client, what does he do, the fella, Stanley Tucci. So what happens in the session? What do you do? What goes on? That's the second I. And then we explore what came up. How was it between you and him? What's the relationship? And what comes up for you? But the fifth I is very interesting because there's a conversation in supervision, and that is where it's different from coaching with what's going on here between you and me. And that's something that we explore in supervision. How's this going on? And what's coming up for me? And that is when you get really insightful to feel and use yourself as an instrument of the energy, because what I'm capturing from you in presence, that you can't fake that. What I'm feeling, the other fella's feeling. That's the energy you transmit, and that's very powerful in supervision. Like when a person is all over the place and I feel confused, I'll say, "Hey, don't you think your client might be confused as well?" Yes. And then we'll go into a system. What else is affected? And that's basically the 7 I's of supervision. That any supervisor will do this exploration. Any questions up to now on supervision? Now, what usually happens are these parallel processes that are very psychodynamic. And it's because supervisees unconsciously identified with their patients, bringing those unconscious identifications into supervision. This is something that came from psychotherapy. Harold Searles was the head of a hospital back in the day. And he would discover that the psychiatrists they would transfer and counter transfer and connect with their patients in a way that it was hard for them to separate. So he kind of like had to speak with them to help them understand how they were being fixed on something that made it hard to let go. And there was the transfers and the counter transfers. So supervision comes from the psychotherapy. It's being attuned to our emotions toward the coach to curiously probe. It's a very beautiful style of intervention. But we're going to take it another step because we are going to use a tool called Pandora's Box. I named it Pandora's Box. Originally, it's the Magic Box, but I can't tell you why it's Pandora's Box because it'll be a spoiler. It's an intervention where we use symbols and metaphors as a way of uncovering unconscious patterns, which leads to deep reflection discussion. There's practically, it's all you. It's going to be all you, Heather. It's going to be hardly any intervention from me. And we use the symbols because this process is very creative. It's based on the work of Lily Seto, it's a supervisor, and this English fella called Anthony Willoughby that was doing mapping. He used mapping as a way of getting managers to map out their systems, using symbols and cultures and mountains and dragons and all this stuff. And it uses objects as a way of mapping complex scenarios. And why does it work in this situation, especially in yours, Heather? Because metaphors are bridges that close the gaps between rational defenses. I mean, there's stuff that you might not be able to convey in words, especially something so sensible. But when you use symbols and stuff, the brain goes another place, and it'll enable you to really externalize fears, pressures, relationships that words sometimes cannot articulate. And Heather, I honor your vulnerability and I applaud your courage today. Okay, and give her a hand to Heather. Okay, and the goal is to transform the unconscious incompetence into tactical clarity for action. Because you're a very good coach. You got some skills in there. So here are the four steps that we're going to do. We're going to do it. It's not going to be theory from now on. We anchor with a symbol. That's going to be you. We map it out. There's going to be an expression session. And there's going to be a revelation. And hopefully you're going to get one of those insights and aha moments or a breakthrough. Is that okay?
Yeah, excellent.
Oh, okie dokie. How we doing, everybody? So, this is Pandora's Box. And the way it works is with symbols. So these are the symbols.
Okay.
These are all the symbols. And do you know why it's called Pandora's Box now? Anybody?
My glasses, hold on.
Does anybody know why I called it Pandora's Box?
Are those Pandora charms?
Those are Pandora charms. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Those
Okay.
are Pandora
Oh.
charms. And then I'm going to teach you how you can make your own Pandora's Box later. If you follow, this is a great little technique that it's supervision, but the way we're going to do it is so you can work it out. In fact, in Friday morning in practice lab, we're going to practice on this one. So you might drop by. So this is your canvas. Okay, and I'm going to put this up here because we're going to work this with Heather. Can you see the whole screen clearly, Heather?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can make it a little bit. Oh, 300 is too much. Can I? Nah, leave it like this. Let me make it so it's better off right here. And here we go. Let me see if I can do something different here. That way it's much better. Is this better? Better for you?
See it? Yeah, I can see the little
Okay.
symbols. Yeah.
Now, this square with the blues, the square, that's your map. That's your canvas
Okay.
of you and that's you. So select a symbol that represents you, and you're going to tell me where to put it on the map.
Okay, great. So I think I saw a heart on there. Did I see a heart somewhere? There's a little heart, I think.
This one?
Yes, yes, the heart.
Where do you want it?
One right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, that's you in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So now you're going to start taking symbols that represent, you don't have to tell me what it is. Just tell me the symbol. Put this one here, put this one here. Thinking about you, the interaction with the client, the whole situation as it is now. You're going to tell me where they go.
Great. So is that like a little painter's thing in the corner? Do I see like a little?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. Let's put that in one corner.
Which corner?
Let's put it up in that's perfect. Top left. And
Here
then
or here?
that's perfect right there.
Uh-huh.
How many do I get to choose? Like three or four?
As many as you want. You keep on going.
Okay. I want to choose the cross. There's the cross. Let's put that in the upper right-hand corner. And then there was also I think there was a puzzle piece. Let's put the puzzle in the bottom left-hand corner. And then, you know what? Let's see. Is there any animal? Like a little animal in there? The little
There's an
elephant?
elephant.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's put that in the lower right.
Okay.
Okay. Do I need more?
Go. Keep on going.
I'm good, but I can pick more.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Can we blow it up for a second so I can see the symbols a little bit better?
Yep.
Oh, there's a car. Okay, definitely. We want the car next on one side of the heart.
Where's the car?
Isn't that a little car next to the turtle to the right of the turtle? Is that a car? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a car. We want that next to the heart.
To the left or to the right?
The right. And then we
Here or
want
here?
to the farther to the right. There we go. A little bit to the right. There we go. And then we want the turtle charm for sure, to the left of the heart. That's perfect. Or a little bit centered. Yeah. There we go. That's perfect. And I think we're good. Or do I need more?
That's okay.
It's good. We're good.
Okay. Now, put the full screen. Now, Heather, tell us what that is. Explain
These
to
mean
us.
to
Yeah,
me? Okay,
everything.
great. So the heart represents my heart is coaching. That's really what I'm most passionate about is coaching in terms of my business. It's what I do for a living. Took me a long time to get there. I didn't do it till I was 50, and it's just it makes my heart beat. I love coaching. The turtle is our national symbol. The turtle it's one of our national symbols for the Cayman Islands, and all my clients are here. So I do a lot of coaching pro bono for people that are having challenges and that sort of thing. So that's part of my attachment to my country and the people that live here or residents here. The puzzle is the mystery of coaching and helping people figure out their mysteries and helping them figure out whatever it is they're trying to figure out. And that's the interesting part of coaching is that it's unknown and it's known to the client. They are the experts and finding out what's important to them, helping them find out what's important to them. And that's what I love about coaching is that we are going into unknown territory with every single coaching session where the rest of my job is very operational and there's a lot of knowns. And that puzzle piece is the question mark. The painter's little palette. That's the creativity that exists with all coaching sessions and with all coaching and client relationships. There's a creative piece. We are dancing together. We are creating something beautiful together. It's a partnership. And I like to think of it as a palette. And I love to think about that as a creativity. The cross is faith and that I have in myself and the client. I believe that every client has their own answers in their heart, and I have a strong relationship with God, even if my clients don't. So I have that faith, but I certainly have faith in the client. And I'm very attached to animals. There's 3 dogs barking right now in my house. So, and most of my clients, for whatever reason, they have animals. Animals come up a lot in coaching. And so that's a theme that is very consistent in coaching. Many of my clients volunteer in various animal charities and that sort of thing. I also volunteer for animal charities. So that's in almost everything that I ever create as an animal. So that's my little symbol explanation.
And now let's put the dynamic of the client in there. Where's the client?
Client is in the puzzle and in the
Is in the
painting
puzzle. Okay.
and in the heart and in the car. Not the
Okay.
car.
Good.
The car is the
Good.
journey that the client is on. I'm sorry. The client is in the car.
Excellent. Excellent.
That's their journey.
Excellent.
It's all about
Excellent.
them.
Now, this is what you're going to do right now because that's good. That's what you explained. I thought it was missing. Sorry. So look at that square with the lines, with the blue lines. If you want to take a picture of that part with your camera, with all those symbols, and just look at it. Look at that picture from different angles. You can see it from the front. If you want, put your camera looking up and stand up and look around 360. Just reflect on that from different viewpoints. What do you notice? What was that smile about?
Curiosity about where the client's going.
Huh?
The curiosity about where's the client going.
Oh, tell me about that.
The most important piece of this puzzle is the car.
Oh,
All those things are tied. Where's the client going? It's not about me. It's about the client. Where are they going? Where do they want to go?
mhm.
When I look at it, I turn the picture upside down. I turned it sideways. I held it far away from me. What stood out to me? What's the most important symbol in here? The car. Where is the client going? Where have they been? Where are they going? What are they looking at? What's their dashboard?
So right now, Heather, this is your chance to rearrange that. As how do you want it to be?
Mhm. Oh, that's so fascinating. That's so fascinating. First of all, car has to go in the middle.
Mhm.
Car goes in the middle. If there was a way to make the car bigger, I would.
Okay, okay, we can make it bigger.
We need to make that car like huge, right? The car is the client. The car is in the middle. Everything else around it can be in a circle around it.
Okay, tell me where.
So the turtle, the heart can be to the right of it or underneath it, anywhere. Probably to the right of it. The puzzle piece needs to go underneath it because that's the big question mark. Is where's the client going? And the puzzle piece needs to be bigger because that's the question. What's the client want? Where are they going? What are they doing? That's also client related. What is the client doing? The little animal can stay small and it can stay where it is, and the painter's palette can be bigger and near the car because it's what are we co-creating? It can be closer to the car. And faith can come down by the heart, but it can stay small, but it's right there because the faith is kind of keeping us all protected. Wow, what a beautiful. That's
Oh,
beautiful.
no, 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 because I'm feeling something too, Heather.
I got chills.
Okay, tell me, this is where let's stay here. Just stay here just a second
Wow,
and look at that.
it's beautiful.
What is it telling you?
Telling me that I need to get coaching supervision because this is amazing. Well, I mean, you're amazing, really. But this is very illuminating that the clarity of this picture is stunning because I see what's important in this process and what's important with this particular client. I see what's important. First of all, I see that this part of the journey that they're on is it's limited. But I also see that in my journey as the coach, there's also some things that I need to be doing that have nothing to do with any of this, that aren't even in this picture, right? So I see that what the coaching process is in this picture. It's right there. It's the client in the car, and it's all circling around the client. That's the nature of coaching. And it just got a little jiggled off track there, but I'm actually going to print this picture. It's really helpful. It's really, really helpful.
And what's interesting is that what I'm getting is that the heart, even though you put the car in the center, I see the heart as something that is very important in the center of this whole dynamic, because you put the cross on the other side, and then I feel that it's in there.
Absolutely. All this came up because I care a great deal about not over invested, but I care about every client. Even if even if I'm not the right coach for them, even if coaching's not right for them, I want what's best for clients. For anyone that steps into the coaching space.
And since we're here, what could you add or subtract from this new way of seeing from anything that's on this side?
And on the picture or in my actual life?
No, any symbol that you would like to add or take away.
I wouldn't take away anything because they're all important to me.
Okay.
But I might add something to be kinder to myself because I'm not being compassionate enough to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not adding that in. I'm already thinking of what I need to do around this type of thing to be kinder to myself and center myself more around a session like this to be nice to me. So I need to do something in there that's
Find it from
kind.
the symbol. Don't intellectualize it from your mind. Look at the symbols on the left, and I'm going to see if I can make it bigger.
You make it bigger, I pick one. Hmm. Oh, the globe. The globe. The globe has to be in there.
Where?
Needs to go in the bottom left-hand corner and a little bit bigger. Missed it. I didn't even see the globe the first time. I feel like it snuck in. That's beautiful. I love that.
What does it say to you?
That is the big picture. Because I tend to get very tunnel visioned and perfectionist about things. So that reminder to stay big picture, that there's a bigger picture of life, of going for a walk, of anything. I got to stay big picture. I'm not being graded for the ICF on every coaching session.
So right now, what changes? What are you capable of?
Taking a different view towards this whole thing, and being nicer to myself and saying you are human. There might be an emotion that pops up in a coaching session. It may happen, but it's also nothing to be. You don't have to take it as a catastrophe. It's big picture. It's okay. I know I've got a better plan for dealing with it after having this image for me.
And what do you think your next session with this fellow is going to be like?
There will be a padding in between my regular work that I do and the session. I'll recognize that it's not just a typical session, that I might need to be kind to myself beforehand. Look at that globe. Go big picture on it. Have a cup of tea. Maybe go outside and get a little fresh air. Recognize that this might be a little, a little bit more for me than usual, and that'll help me be a little bit more, maybe do the grounding exercise. Actually, I'm very nice to my clients, but I'm sometimes not that nice to me. I don't give myself that same kindness. So that's the reminder to be nice, really be nice to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always asking my clients, what do you need? What else do you need to do for you? And yet, where is that for me? I need to put myself in the equation about being, what do you mean I need to be my best self? How? Well, let's put some padding around this a little bit to actually be nice and, do a little grounding. That grounding exercise was amazing. I felt like I was going to fall asleep. Very unusual for that high energy person that I am. It was really effective.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of that going. And how's it? The one last thing. How is it? How does this now that you see and what's coming up for me? It was the impact of how you blew the car up, to that dimension. And that says a lot about your superpower of how you see your clients. You see them important, you see them in the center, and you see them driving. Because that symbol, this car is coming this way. It's driving towards the future. It's driving out of the picture to life, to do whatever it has to do. How is this going to affect your coaching in general with all your clients?
To look at that globe piece as well and to stay big picture on it. I mean, I think it's important I do view myself sometimes we're talking about superpowers as superhuman sometimes. I just turned 64 recently. And, I need to honor the fact that, I might need a little bit more TLC in my workday. Might need to give myself a little more kindness and recognize, yep, I might need a little bit more space in between, say, a coaching session and my regular grueling type work that I do and that sort of thing. I think this is very powerful. I'm not giving myself enough compassion and grace around this particular sessions that I'm having, or in general, I don't think. So this very big aha.
Excellent. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this in the chat. Got another one thing too. File. Ooh, boo boo. Let me see if I can get it. This is the one. Yep. I put it in the chat.
Fernando, we have a hand raised from.
Yeah. And I'm just going to go to Francine. And one last thing. This is the parallel process for Heather. What came up to me is that you give such a, and it happened when you spoke about the war emotion and when the whole theme came up. Because before you came in that I said I was in Bogota Friday and Saturday for a conference. I've been, from pandemic in here, these four walls doing all my stuff online. I had to give a keynote speech. So I was kind of like nervous because it was all the heads of ICF and all the presidents of all the countries and Saul, who's the head of Latin America. And I serve the Hispanic community. So I was really nervous, man, but I blew it away. It was wow. And I took the plane and I came here and I was wiped out yesterday and today. I got sick. I was like, wow. And I was kind of worried today. I'm going to have to suspend my encounters because I have 2 webinars tonight. And ever since you came up and this whole thing, and I noticed it because I started concentrated, and it's kind of I start feeling better and better. So I'm ready for, and that's like the parallel process. This whole thing has to do with something that you have, which is a superpower, which you really soothe the warm energy of healing to others.
Oh,
And
thank you
that's something that
so
you
much.
should do for yourself. This is something that's coming up for yourself. That's your TLC. How
Thank you
we
so much.
doing?
And you did so much for me in this session. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. And give a round of applause to Heather. That was our Pandora. I know one more thing. These are charms from the Pandora thingy store. Okay. So what you might want to do is go into the Pandora store at the mall in the Cayman Islands or order whichever of these charms you want to have them as your symbol. So you can have an anchor or a little
Yeah,
bracelet. Yeah,
it's a great idea.
because
There's,
it'll help you remind you of this whole
yeah,
thing.
oh, got it. That's fantastic.
Okay. Okie dokie. So we have questions. Thank you, Heather.
You,
A round of
thank you,
applause
Fernando.
to
That was fabulous. Thank you.
Francine. And we can take the
Hi. I wanted to ask Heather a question.
sure.
You know, going through all of that really really interesting exercise, and you have like this new vision sort of for that support that you can give yourself. I had the impression when you were telling the kind of the background that there was some, I don't know if it's anxiety or something when you hear about the parent. How does this exercise help with that specifically? I mean, I just like to hear it from you. I imagine what it does, but I'd like to hear it from you.
A great question. I think what I really got from this is that I'm really knocking myself for even having an emotion because I come from I'm like a perfectionist family and a perfectionist. That's just the way I am. And I feel like the bar is like here. So I kind of feel like part of this is I was feeling like if I have a normal reaction to this, then I'm just, wow, I'm really letting everyone down. First of all, this is all going on in my head. Chances are the client didn't even notice it. So what I got from this is once I really centered on what's important about this a session and all coaching sessions and kind of regrounded in that and got away from, I'm not perfect, I'm slipping, whatever. That this experience has knocked something out of me that if this even gets brought up, I'm going to start to freeze. I'm going to have to turn away any client that's experiencing anything like this. This gave me permission to feel human. And that globe helps remind me that I've got to ground myself before a session like this and say, you know what? Something might pop up and give myself permission to say I'm human. I might have some emotions around this. And if I get to a point where I can't handle it, there'll be a path forward as well. But this gave me permission to not always have to, not that no one's perfect, and I'm certainly not, but it lowered the bar and the stress around it. I had stress around it. This took that stress away. It gave me confidence to be able to walk into the next session like that and just take some of this pressure off. By looking actually, and I'm not particularly adept at these visual tools, but there was something about it when I saw them that really snapped. And it also gave me something to actually look at and remember this.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Francine, for that input. It was very important. And what I love about this particular tool is it's very minimalistic for the coach. But you need that presence and that space and that energy, that regulatory energy, because without it, it's not just pick a symbol, put it in the middle, yeah. No, there's a relationship that's happening. And so I would tell everybody that's going towards the MCC or PCC or whatever, it's not the technique, brother. It's there is an intentionality of energy that is very powerful, still being uncovered, still being studied. I know if you all read the second edition of Marsha Reynolds' book, she talks about that regulatory energy. Coach the person, not the client. Coach the person, not the problem. About how neurologically the the chemicals in our brain are affected within the relationship, which is what happens when we develop these insights. And then using yourself as a tool. This is where supervision gives you liberty. And I'm using it in my coaching sessions, like what comes up for me. I'm part of this system too. I'm part of this process. I also get triggered. I also get insight. Any other questions about this one? I'm preparing, Fridays I have the barter coaching and I have we have a little WhatsApp club where we meet and they ask for barter coaching. And Friday, I'm going to use the tool as a practice session because I'm developing new ways of doing this. As I spoke, there was a fellow called Anthony Willoughby that was doing mapping for companies, and so I developed maps with the four archetypes to use with symbols in terms of this is a more complex kind of one. You know, you go to the kingdoms of the lover, the ruler, the perfectionist, the warrior, the magician, and then you play with this. This is a little game I'm trying to develop. I want to make a video game out of this. And if you look at this is what comes up with clients. This is what comes up sometimes. And you can imagine the symbolism involved with somebody that Mandalorian mask meant a lot. This one was good with the butterfly. This one had a lot of to do with love and affection and stuff. The way that they space them out sometimes means something. So it's always different. There's so many things that come up with these canvases. So that is a little Pandora's box, and it does work very well online. Now, if you can have these in your personal sessions and spend $500 in Pandora and get all these charms, it'll be cool. That'd be really nice to have and just use them. And then what I think is you give the client the present and you give them the charms, but then you have to charge $300 a session. Any other questions? How did you see the Pandora's box?
I have a quick question, Fernando.
Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah.
much. About how long do you recommend for the exercise, especially if you have a very verbose client?
Well, look, put the anchor, set, observe, and reflect. That can fit into a 30-minute session if you want. An hour session, you'll have a lot more, to also your insights. There is that liberty that you can put in your insight, which we don't do in coaching. You might want to leave it totally non-directive, but then there is something that you perceive. Like I perceived the car gave me so much energy and it was driving towards the future, away from the canvas, towards life. That's how I interpret it. So you can do it short or as part of a session or just to, sometimes clients want to have a little bit of variety. It's a human need. So you can use it. And the exercise is easy. You go into the Pandora website and there are thousands of charms. Select the ones you want to use for your canvas. I mean, select a group of 30 or 40 charms that you think symbolizes something. Was you have to have your own Pandora's box. Go in and of course you're always going to look for the general metaphors, the heart, the lock, the key, the cage, the owl, and then go ahead and use your creativity. This is creative coaching. I I, I went into the charms of Star Wars and got the Mandalorian because that's the Thor. I had a client a couple of weeks ago. We were doing this demonstration. She chose the hammer of Thor. It was very symbolic and how it relates. But the thing is that when our brain is connecting to these symbols, it's a way of transversing that place of vulnerability or what cannot be expressed. And it's true. Once it's on that canvas, you're doing it silently, but then, okay, what does that mean? And then it's very important that 360 thing where you can see it. You remember, Heather, you looked at it from different places. You saw it upside down. It's, it's very powerful. Any other insight? What you get, Scott? Claudia?
I think it was great. I think this is such a great tool, even for a coaching session.
Adriana, yeah, for a coaching session. Adriana? Está por ahí. Adriana. Well, that was our supervision, group supervision session. And I basically gave you the 7 steps. It's supervision. I think it's going to be here. Yesterday there was a town hall, an ICF of the new what they're bringing in for 2027, and yeah, they're going to define the competencies for supervision. It's a great place to learn it. I know in Europe it's big, and who's delivering that program in the United States is Goldvarg is doing Damien. Damon Gold has a very beautiful program on supervision. You learn a lot. There's a lot of exploration. And this is part of group supervision, which is what I'm getting into, because I love these type of group interactions where we can all do it in companies. We can have companies and have them in teams start defining the symbols, selecting the symbols, getting consensus. Where do we put it? Look at it, look around, let's rearrange. And you can rearrange a system within a company, a department. So now that we're going into our final run here, what is your takeaway from today? I hope Pandora's giving me a commission.
No, I was going to say, Fernando, what Heather concluded at the end of the session, that we're humans and we don't have to be perfect. Like she said, I'm also one of those in that category of perfectionism and striving to be even more perfect. If, of course, we're not going to get there, but just and I saw her, how she relaxed, and her body was even relaxed when you said it's okay. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be human. That doesn't make you a bad coach. And if you're able to, manage that emotion and be focused on your client, I think you're going to do great.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's my biggest takeaway from this session, to give ourselves grace.
And sometimes, I feel like we don't, man, we are doing interventions, human being to human being. There's a lot going on. We have a very serious profession. It's very passionate. It's very expansive, but we have some serious work that we're doing with clients. I mean, I always say we are the guardians of the door for burnout for many of our clients. You get the clients and they don't have that even 30 minutes. They're giving us these 30-minute sessions in these platforms. I use those 30 minutes on the clock, man. But it's because it's the reflection. That's it. Sometimes, the session, you might not think it ends. It ended. 3 minutes, you tell the client, of all this insight, of all this reflection, of all this stuff that we've talked about, what is it that you can bring out to light that you could use in the next week? Boom. Because the question, very well seated, makes the client go to places where he normally doesn't go. And I don't hear this that much, that is a hypnotic trance. When that client goes like this, you got him in a trance. That's why coaching is so powerful. And why are these companies like Google and Microsoft inventing millions of dollars in coaching? Because I know how much those licenses cost for one executive. And then I'm seeing a deployment of 5,000, 4,000 executives. You multiply that. That's millions of dollars. They're not going to invest millions of dollars because they want people to be happy. They want it because they know it affects the bottom line. Everything is being measured. So coaching does work. And I think it's just going to get expansive and expansive, and we're in the right place. And fortunately for some, unfortunately for others, we're in the ICF game, which is where it's a good place to be. And thank you all. You guys have been fantastic. And I hope I can see you guys sometime in practice lab on Friday.
Thank you very much, Fernando. And maybe one thing before we conclude for this evening, just as a reminder, couple of reminders, but one, please take the session survey. It helps us as the chapter move forward and move stronger to serve our members, all of us, better going forward. So please take a couple of minutes to fill the survey in. If for some reason you cannot get the QR code, check the chat. There is the link to click on and fill the survey. Fernando, thanks once again for a very, very engaging session. Heather, even bigger gratitude and thanks for your involvement, willing to play, willing to participate, and showing up your lovely self. So thanks a lot. With that, thank you very much. And we'll see you again. There are a lot of things coming up. So make sure your membership is up to date. If you're not a member, please join because there's so many things happening. And it's only as rich as we, all of us, chip in with our presence, with our insights. So please stay tuned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone, for being here tonight. Watch out for the spring summit, the core competencies. We're giving away 22 CCU. So if you're up for renewal, yeah. So each summit we give at least 20 CCUs. They're all core competencies. So watch out for that. It's a big deal. Big deal.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Fernando. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.